in Baltimore and double all that, trying to keep the cup out of Pittsburgh. At least I am with my Predators jersey over my shoulder here. But we'll be all focused on Oriole baseball. Bunch of different teams, short series, couple with the Pirates, one with the Nationals, and then off to New York this weekend. Bob Harkins covers all things MLB and with longtime editor at NBC as well now at MSN Sports, FanRag Sports, Be More Sports Life, and Nerdist, as well as BobHarkins.com. He's out on the West Coast. He is B Harks on Twitter. What's going on, man? Baseball in full bloom here from East Coast to West Coast.
Yes, sir, Nestor. Nice to talk to you. Out here on the West Coast, just trying to stay cool in this summer and enjoying what's been a really interesting and fun baseball season so far.
Yeah, I've been out on the West Coast a couple times the last few weeks. I was in your homeland of Seattle when you two opened their tour up there and lamenting all the bad things for the Mariners, and I snuck into Denver to see Petty at Red Rocks last week, and there were Rockies hats everywhere. There was an afternoon game. I mean, people were really into it. The NL West race this year has some juicy to it, and I'm a little bit of a closet Padres fan, have been most of my life, and Tony Gwynn and whatnot, and I like Bruce Bochy a lot in San Francisco, but it's kind of nice to see Arizona and Colorado giving the Dodgers a little run, right?
Fun. I mean, the last few years it's been Dodgers-Giants, and that's pretty much been it, and obviously them being rivals, that's made for some fun division races, but it's good to see some new faces in there, and especially, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, with each of whom have MVP caliber players on that team, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and it's good to see those guys be in a race so far this year. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep it up. The Rockies are relying on a pretty young pitching staff. They've got a rejuvenated bullpen and the same old, really dangerous offense. And the Diamondbacks are kind of similar, too. Offensive power with the pitching staff kind of holding things together so far. So, I think in the end you got a Dodgers team that, again, they've shown the last couple of years that they treat their team as a 40-man roster as opposed to a 25-man, and the depth is just nuts there, as well as the resources to go get more depth when they need it. And so, I guess you got to figure they're the favorites there ultimately to come out on top for a fifth straight season, but it's been real enjoyable to watch so far to see some new faces up there.
Well, sure. I think in Arizona they went all in on Greinke and they decided to spend some money. And to your point, I mean, Goldschmidt, so one of the guys that we don't ever get to see play around here, right? I mean, we're seeing the Pirates come in this week and get a look at McCutchen. We see him every handful of years or whatever. But being out here in Baltimore, we're kind of glued to the Orioles every single night. We've got our own young bucks and our stars and all that. But boy, Arenado's special. Goldschmidt. I mean, there's some guys that have played and sort of toiled away in these also-ran cities that have been really, really good baseball players, and now something's coming up underneath to support all that to make the team better.
Yeah, for sure. And you got, me, I grew up with the Mariners as a Mariner fan, and so I can relate to teams that struggle year after year after year, and it's pretty fun when you get, you get some juice going in your town, you get everyone excited, and both those teams are really fun teams to watch. Like, if Goldschmidt's one of those guys, that maybe the East Coast people aren't so familiar with. The games are on so late and everything, but that's one of those guys you should, if you get a chance, buy a ticket to go see play. He's that good. Arenado as well. So, yeah, I like it when you get new teams up there.
You buying what the Astros are selling, Bob Harkins?
I sure am. I mean, this has been a plan that's been in the works for a few years now. When they tore it down, and they were really awful for a few years. But they're gonna. It looks like they're gonna walk away with this American League West. They're just between the Rangers' kind of surprising struggles, the Mariners losing a star. It seems like every other week to injury. It looks like they're not going to find a challenger in this division, and they should walk away with it. With that offense, with Dallas Keuchel kind of bouncing back from his, he kind of had a down season last year, now looks better than ever, and probably your Cy Young leader at this moment in the American League. But, they're 41-16. The next closest team would be those Colorado Rockies at 36-23 as far as overall record in all baseball. And, yeah, I'm buying the Astros. They're a legit title contender in my book.
Bob Harkins joining us here. He is B Harks out on Twitter talking all things baseball. Birds have a strange week here. NL Central, NL East for a game, then back to Yankee Stadium this weekend. I guess the big story when the team rolls into New York this week is we're one more series closer to the end for Machado here and free agency. The Yankees are always, along with the Phillies and some others, going to be considered the suitors for his services. He's clearly not going to sign here between now and then. And it makes it even stickier, I think, when you're batting .220 and going to Yankee Stadium and getting those kinds of questions. Machado has hit a little choppy point in his career after 200 at-bats here to start the 2017 campaign. And he's fallen, and I don't know what it's going to take for him to get up. But I know one thing. He's not real popular around the league, that's for sure.
Well, certainly not in Boston, I suppose. Although they seem to finally calm down with all that kind of nonsense. I guess Pedroia's message finally got through. But
I don't think it's over, bro. I mean, it's Hatfield. It's never going to be over. It's like Dodgers Giants. That'll never be over.
That's true. Well, as long as people keep looking at Madison Bumgarner, when he doesn't want people to look at him, then the Dodgers Giants thing will never die. And I guess maybe that's the same thing with the Orioles and the Red Sox. As long as Machado hits bombs and takes his time getting around the bases, there'll be some hard feelings there. But
I said that'll continue with him wherever he goes. I mean, Machado goes to Philadelphia, New York, wherever. There will be wars and beanballs 5 years from now that were seeded with the Josh Donaldson fiasco 4 years ago. It's like it never ends. There's the elephant memory there going on with these meatheads.
Yeah, I guess some guys just kind of draw that kind of attention just by, one, they have to be good. First of all, nobody cares if you're not good, and two, you had a bit of attitude that rubs people the wrong way. Certainly Bryce Harper, I guess, would fit into that category.
Well, we saw that brawl going on. And, I think there is something for these guys who are the hot shots, all of them, whether it's Lindor, whether it's Correa, whether it's Arenado, for all these, Sano, all these young players, they're going to get challenged. And I know we've seen stories written about the curveball and how that's changed things. I mean, every night the Orioles strike out 10, 12, 14 times in the era. I mean, Earl Weaver flips in his grave every time that happens. And, in modern baseball, things have changed. But one thing that hasn't changed is chin music for star players, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. And it's funny we're talking about this, and this seems like it bubbles up every so often, every year, really. A few years ago, I wrote a story about the unwritten rules of baseball and talked to a number of players. And what really kind of cracked me up about the whole thing is that I got such a wide range of responses as to when a pitcher's throwing at you. I had some guys say you always know when it's on purpose. Some guys say you never know when it's on purpose, and some guys said, well, sometimes you do know and sometimes you don't know. So with that, how do you know?
We had a situation here a month ago where we got a toss on a breaking ball. And to me, it looked like he was throwing at him. And so they were like, come on, man, you wouldn't throw a breaking ball if you're trying to hit him. I'm like, sure you would, because then you could hit him and say, I threw a breaking ball, right? I mean, to me, that's reverse psychology. That's brilliant if you're Buck Showalter. Hit him with a breaking ball. They'll never throw you out for that,
Oh, man.
Literally,
I
right?
don't know. If I throw 98, I think I'm throwing 98 to make the guy feel it.
I said, what do you think, 79 doesn't hurt? It hurts like hell.
It hurt me. I don't know if it hurt a guy with a huge buttocks.
Dude, if I took anybody out there and threw a ball and hit him at 50, it would hurt. It would hurt. If it was at your head, you would come at me, I mean, 50's fast, 90's crazy, 80's plenty. 80's plenty to leave a mark.
Yeah. No, I know. But I'm still saying, I don't know. Did you think that was on purpose, that Gausman curveball?
Yes, I do.
I don't.
Well, nobody did but me, but that's fine. But, I thought it was kind of brilliant, and they threw him out anyway. And I said, the commissioner of the sport was on the phone with both managers an hour before the game. If anybody gets hit, you're getting tossed. I mean, that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah, that's what happened, for sure. The ump was he was ready. He was ready at the first sign to just throw somebody out. And I'm not even sure in that split-second decision he made to throw Gausman out of the game, I'm not sure he could tell what kind of pitch it was. From where he was behind the plate. He may have been screened a little by by the batter.
Well, it wasn't a thing when the batter stepped into it either. I mean, the ball came right at him. So, and that's why I said, not every purpose pitch has to be 98 at someone's skull. A breaking pitch at 79 that hits you in the hip hurts like hell. And if you can do that on purpose and do it, then why wouldn't you? I mean, but that's just me. I don't have that much testosterone, Bob. Bob Harkins joins us here. He's Bob Harks out on Twitter at MSN Sports, FanRag Sports, Be More Sports Life, and Nerdist out in L.A. doing the baseball thing. Cubs going to turn this around, Bob?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Cubs going to turn this around?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, are they going to finish with 100 wins? No, I don't think so. But I think they'll win this division and they'll make the playoffs. And then who knows? Then they wake up when they get the playoffs. I mean, right now they're only a game over 500. They're only a game out of first place, and that team's the Brewers. So I'm not too worried about the Cubs. I kind of figured the starting rotation would backslide a little bit. I didn't think the rotation was maybe as good as it performed last year. I'm a little surprised that their offense hasn't been hitting the way we all thought it would. They've had some troubles there. But I think in the long run, we're a third of the way through the season, maybe a little over. I think that they'll get things turned around. And remember, they've got a pretty talent-rich minor league system, too. If they need to go out and get something, they could probably do that too.
There's a lot of guys on the slide. We're going to see McCutchen this week. Obviously, Machado. Guys that could have made a lot of money. Arrieta being primary and all that. This is not a good timing for any of these cats to be having bad years.
No. And you talk about Machado. That really kind of puts the Orioles in a difficult spot. Like if he continues to struggle and partly because of that, we're looking at this 3.5 game deficit expanding to say 6 or 7 by July. Then they're in a tight spot because then the Orioles got to start thinking about what do they do with the future? What do they do with Machado? What do they do with Britton? What do they do with some of these guys that they could lose in free agency coming up here? So. Not a good time. Not a good time for these guys, for sure.
Hey, man, always good to visit. I appreciate the time. We're going to send everybody out to B Harks to find you out on Twitter as well as BobHarkins.com and all the work you're doing out there covering baseball out in L.A. Say hello to Chavez Ravine. Get a Dodger dog for me, and we'll catch up sometime.
Will do. Thanks, Nestor.
You got it, Bob Harkins. He is B Harks out on Twitter. I am out in Facebook land and Twitter and LinkedIn and Snapchat and Instagram and everywhere the internet is served. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. That is my one and only email address. We're also broadcasting live on Facebook Live as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. For Oriole fans out there, I will be releasing the Peter Principles in totality this summer. I have re-edited it after my wife's illness 3.5 years ago when I stopped writing in the middle. I am going to be releasing it out at WNST.net all summer long. I hope you catch up on some good summer reading. You can even take it to the beach with you if you wait till later in the summer or halfway through the summer. But chapters 1, 2, and 3 now out. I'm going to begin to augment and release them on a daily basis beginning next week. So you'll definitely want to be on the lookout for that. Also, I'm out in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device. Just download the TuneIn Radio app. We come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. Don't forget that Planet Fitness sponsors our morning newspaper. That comes to you at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That's all brought to you by PlanetFitness.com, where it's still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life, and there's one right around the corner from you. Go out and take advantage of Planet Fitness. Last but never least, if there's any more breaking news from the Ravens, from the Orioles, never feels like it's good news with the Ravens, although they did sign some dudes on Monday, so that's good. You always get it first on the WNST text service. Folks know that. They share it out on social media as well. We do appreciate that. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. And Dennis Colatzos will be here on Thursday driving you home from 3 until 5. It is the SSV on WNST. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.